Jordan Peterson is stepping away from the microphone, possibly for months, and the reason is more unsettling than anyone expected. If you've ever found yourself nodding along to one of his marathon lectures on Genesis, or raising an eyebrow at his fiery exchanges about modern masculinity, this news feels like a punch in the gut. The man who has debated the world's sharpest minds is now locked in a private battle that no amount of rhetoric can out-argue. But here's where it gets controversial. Some fans insist Peterson's recent absences were just burnout, while others whisper that his all-meat diet must finally be catching up with him. Both camps are wrong, and the truth is stranger and more serious than the rumor mill suggests. Mikhaila Peterson, his daughter and longtime health advocate, broke the silence on X, formerly Twitter, with a single sobering line. @Jordan B. Peterson is taking some time off of everything. No cryptic emojis, no vague promises of recharging. Just a raw admission that her father's body has reached a tipping point. The diagnosis? Chronic Inflammatory Response Syndrome, CIRS for short. Think of it as the immune system's equivalent of a smoke alarm that can't tell the difference between burnt toast and a 5-alarm fire. Roughly 1 in 4 people carry the genetic glitch that can trigger CIRS. But Peterson drew the short straw. His version is severe. When he inhales everyday mold spores or certain bacterial fragments, his body launches a full-scale inflammatory war that never quite ends. And this is the part most people miss. CIRS isn't new to the Peterson household. Since 2017, the telltale signs have been hiding in plain sight. Mysterious food reactions that forced him onto an all-beef regimen. Random bouts of crushing fatigue. Unexplained allergies that would vanish and return like unwelcome houseguests. The carnivore diet helped, but only as a tourniquet slows bleeding. It didn't address the wound itself. The latest flare-up came after an act of love, not negligence. Peterson was helping clear out his late grandfather's house, an old building that had quietly turned into a mold fortress over the decades. One weekend of exposure, and the symptoms roared back with vengeance. Brain fog so thick he struggled to finish sentences. Joint pain that reduced a once commanding voice to a whisper. And heartbreakingly, episodes of spontaneous tears triggered by sheer physical agony. Let's be crystal clear. This is not akathisia. The medication-induced restlessness that sidelined him in 2019. Peterson is currently on 0 pharmaceuticals. The enemy is internal, an immune system betraying the very body it was designed to protect. Consequences are cascading. Live events have been scratched from the calendar. Podcast uploads have gone eerily quiet, and the usually omnipresent Twitter threads are silent. For millions who rely on his weekly insights, the void feels jarring. Like a city suddenly robbed of its nightly news. Yet amid the uncertainty, Mikhaila offered a fragile thread of hope. We finally have a name for the monster we've been fighting. Treatments do exist, specialized binders to mop up circulating toxins, rigorous environmental controls, and cutting-edge labs that most family doctors have never heard of. Peterson has already begun the protocol, and early signs suggest his body is responding, albeit slowly. It's brutal, Mikhaila admitted, but at least we're no longer swinging in the dark. Which brings us to the elephant in the room. Why does mainstream medicine still treat CIRS like a myth? Bold claim. If this condition affected a less polarizing figure, insurance codes would already exist, and hospital protocols would be standardized. Instead, patients like Peterson are forced into expensive boutique clinics while skeptics roll their eyes. Is it any wonder that families wind up turning to online forums and fringe practitioners just to be taken seriously? Mikhaila closed her message with a plea that doubles as a challenge. praying the medical community wakes up and that building codes finally mandate fresh air ventilation systems so no one else has to lose years of their life to a silent mold infestation. So what can we do right now? 1. Pray, if that's your tradition. Send thoughts, light, or simply a quiet wish for healing, whatever aligns with your worldview. 2. Educate yourself. Look up CIRS, read the peer-reviewed papers, and maybe ask your own doctor how many mold-related illnesses they diagnosed last year. The answer may shock you. 3. Check your own environment. That musty smell in the basement office, it might be more than an inconvenience. And now the question I'll leave dangling like a live wire. If a public intellectual as formidable as Jordan Peterson can be humbled by an invisible fungus, how many everyday people are suffering in silence because their symptoms don't fit neatly into a 10-minute appointment slot? Sound off below. Do you think CIRS deserves more recognition? Or is this just another case of the internet over-medicalizing everyday fatigue? Your story might be the one that changes someone's life.